look at the stuff up in front of me. And first of all, I'm going to take my little viewfinder and I'm going to figure out if I'm going to draw it top to bottom. What am I going to include? I'm going to put everything up there. Am I going to get the edge of the table? I think I kind of want the edge of this table to be in there, right? Now, my first instinct might be, well, the table's flat, so I'm going to draw a straight line here across the bottom of my page. Well, the table is not flat, okay? So what I want you to do is to measure the actual angle of the edge of the table. So if you come up here and you take your pencil and you hold it flat to the picture plane, and then you turn your pencil until it hits the edge of the table like this, then I want you to take that angle and name it. So this is the angle right here. Notice how it's not 15 minutes to the hour, it's 14 or 13 minutes to the hour, right? The edge of that table. If I were to measure this little box right here, I'd put my pencil straight up and down and I'd say the angle of the edge of that box is like 5 minutes after the hour, isn't it? Okay, so basically what I'm doing is I'm forcing myself to see the edge of this box up here is going to be straight up and down, right? If I measure that, that's 12 o'clock. This box is 12 o'clock, this one that's sitting up straight, up and down like that, right? But the top of the box isn't flat, it's actually going off. Is it rising? Is it falling? What's happening in the tops of these boxes, right? So I want to ask myself that as I look at it, right? So what I want you to do is to choose a point to start. So I'm going to start with this brown box and I'm going to decide where that brown box is going to sit here on my page. And I want it to be over to the right and I want it to be about in the middle because I'm going to get the picture frame over here. I'm going to take, I measured it already and I got it 12 o'clock. So I'm going to come here onto my page. I'm just going to let my pencil drop straight down to the floor. Now I'm going to decide how big I want that box to be in my drawing. So I'm going to decide over here how much of that line I'm going to use. I want that box to start pretty close to the top, but I only want it to come down about halfway through. So I'm going to stop my box right here. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the bottom of the box. So I'm going to put my line here. I'm going to say that's probably about 14 or 13 minutes to the hour. I'm going to put my pencil where I want the bottom of that box to be. I'm going to look back at the box in front of me. I'm not looking at my paper right now. I'm looking at the box, so I'm drawing a line. Okay, now I'm looking back at my paper to check to see if over here it's not 15, but it's like 14 or 13 minutes to the hour. Okay, I'm going to measure the other angle of the box. The other line of the box goes up from the bottom. You guys can't see that because the camera's a little different than my eye. I'm getting this to look like it's about, now I'm keeping flat. Notice if I turn my pencil this way, I can't draw into my page that way. I have to keep my pencil flat to the glass in front of me and then keep turning it this way until I grab the corner of that box, right? So this corner of that box over there, I would measure like this. What I'm actually seeing right here is 10 minutes after the hour. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to imagine 10 after the hour on my page. I'm going to put my pencil at this corner. I'm going to look back at the box up in front of me and I'm going to draw what I see. If this doesn't go 10 minutes after the hour, I'm going to put my pencil back here. I'm going to look up at it again. I'm going to redraw it where I think it should actually go. Now I've got two lines here. I have to decide which one I'm going to use, right? So I'm going to go here and I'm going to make that line even stronger. Now I have to decide how long this line should be and how long that line should be. So I'm going to compare them to the top. So I'm going to measure this line here and I'm going to go along the edge of the box there. So I'm measuring this edge of the box here and I'm going along the box there. And I'm saying the top of this is probably 1 plus about this much of the pencil more. So it's, if I measure the box this way up and down, right, and I pinch my pencil right there at the bottom, then I turn it this way sideways, it's not going to reach the end of the box that way. It's a little longer than that, right? So I'm going to come here to my page. I'm going to say it has to be a little longer than this. So I'm going to bring this measurement over here. I'm going to put it over here, and then I'm going to take that much more of my pencil. I'm going to say that's where the end of my box is going to be. So now I've decided the other corner. I know that goes straight up and down, so I can just draw that up and down straight. Now from this edge here, I'm not going to go flat. I'm going to measure what it is. Put my pencil over here, put my eye back over here, and draw that how I see it. I'm going to measure this top corner of the box, and I'm going to draw that. And then I'm going to measure the distance here compared to there. So I'm going to get this compared to that, and it looks like it's a little less than half. So if this goes that far, this is going to be less than half, like this far maybe. Then I'm going to measure this angle and draw that in. I'm going to measure this angle and draw that in. Then I see the pasta box up on top of it, right? So I'm going to say, where from here to here does that corner of the pasta box interrupt it there? I'm going to get that in here somewhere. Goes straight up and down. The edge of it goes not quite 15 minutes after, it's just above that. So it's coming off this way. This is coming about 5 minutes too. Look back at the drawing as you draw it. This does not touch that back corner. It comes in here somewhere, so it only comes back to like there. Notice that I'm also looking along here and saying, at what point along here do I see the brown box coming out of the box over here? So this probably wants to come up about 2/3 up there and 1/3 down below it. Before then, this comes down this direction. And this goes up that direction, and this comes straight in. Now, if I draw a line like this over here, and then I look up at it and I say, wait, if I take my pencil and move this direction, I notice that I hit the corner of the brown box before I hit the edge of the white box. So over here on my drawing, I look at this and I say, look, I'm hitting the corner of the white box, and there's the brown box right there. This line has to be moved to the inside of the brown box over there. So drawing, my friends, is a series of corrections, right? You have this line over here. You don't need to erase it unless you get confused. Basically what you're going to do once you get your drawing done up in a 2H is you're going to go back into it, and you're going to emphasize these lines by starting at the corners and going off in the direction you want to. But you don't really have to do too much to get that in there. This line here now, the book is tilting this way just a bit, and I notice it starts up here above the corner. It's going this direction. See, I changed it. The end of the book comes out, so maybe I just put my pencil at the end of the book and I say, where does that relate to this box behind it, this brown box that I already drew? About right here. So maybe I just want to take that and drop it down and say that's the end of this line. Notice how slowly I'm moving in this. The point of this book comes about right here. And then this line goes at this angle here. Comes out about to there. The more things I draw, the more I want to be in proportion. I may go with this line out further and say, well, that actually should be going off out here. So I'm getting a drawing here that's got quite a lot of lines in it, and I've got at the corners these kind of things overlapping. See, I've got more of a line here than I need. But I can just go here and say, this is where my book is. If you want to draw in shadows, you may, but I want you to use the same method. So the shadow that comes off the book continues in this direction here, goes off in that direction there, and comes out of the book a little less than 15. It's more like 17 minutes to the hour. Okay, so there's a bunch of things I'm doing here. Number one, I'm looking at the object or the subject when I draw, i.e. not the paper. Okay, that's one thing I want you to practice. Number 2, I'm measuring. I'm measuring the distance between objects. I'm trying to find things that are equal. So I might take this and say, does that actually equal this? Right? And then I check up here to see if I'm kind of on track. Looks like I'm a little bit long there. So I need to change something, right? So the more things I draw in here, the more things I'm going to start questioning, like, are they the right size? Are they the right shape? Are they the right height? And I build a drawing like that as I go along. I do not need you to erase. I really like the idea that this box I've drawn all the way to the corner of it, and then I'm seeing how this is overlapping. This box I just drew without taking that time, and look at how problematic it is. What I'm actually seeing is that this box ends at the end of that box, so I need to change that. This is going to end at the end of there. I'm going to actually see, I see a tiny bit of brown right there. So this box needs to come over here. I'd actually prefer that you use your kneaded eraser and sort of eliminate some of those lines that you don't want to see, but I still want to see them because I'm really interested in your process. I'm really interested in how you come up with this drawing this week. And I want to make sure that you're looking at the object that you're drawing while you're doing it. I can check my angles on the drawing, and the reason that we're doing this from observation and trying to repeat our picture plane is I can come up here and I can measure the angle of the corner of the box, right? And then I can lock that in and I can bring it over here and I can see if this is the same angle as what I'm seeing up in front of me.